Everyone was sitting in the bleachers as Mr. Stalling, his PE teacher, and also the baseball coach, took roll. Debbie Artemis, here. Mia Barling, here. Jimmy spaced out as the name Townsend was usually one of the last ones on the list. Robert McCarthy, here, Robert said, and Jimmy tightened up as he heard Jimmy's voice behind him in the bleachers. Jimmy slowly turned around and saw Robert up at the top of the bleachers with his friends. They were all leaning their backs against the wall, and Robert was looking straight at Jimmy. He punched his left hand against his right hand and then pointed to Jimmy as if he was threatening to punch him later. "Oh no," Jimmy said to himself as he slowly turned around to hear his name being called. "Jimmy Townsend?" Jimmy cleared his throat and said, "Here." Dial. "Here," said a small voice to the left of Jimmy. "How do you pronounce your name, son?" Alberic, said Alberic. "Just call me Albie." "Okay, all right," said Mr. Stalling. "Before we begin, we are going to go over some rules. This is PE, which stands for Physical Education. This means we are going to be educating you on how important it is to be physical and in shape. You will take roll every day, and as soon as your name is called, you will begin to run your laps, 4 each day." "Ah," the student said. Mr. Stalling blew his whistle as he religiously wore a whistle around his neck. "Come on," he said. "No groaning in here. I only have winners in this class, not whiners. Is that understood?" "Yes," said the students reluctantly. "Okay, now we are not running today, but be ready for that tomorrow. Right now I need you all to fill out this paper and let me know if you have any restrictions that would limit you from taking part in any physical activities. Come down here and grab one of these and fill it out before the class is over." Each student went one by one and picked up the paper that Mr. Stalling was handing out. Jimmy slowly walked over, trying not to turn around in case Robert was there with his ominous crowd of followers, as he and Jennifer had once called them. Albie was in front of Jimmy and stood about 4 feet tall, which made Jimmy feel very tall at 4 feet 10 inches. Albie was definitely the shortest kid in the class, possibly in the entire school. Albie turned to Jimmy and asked Jimmy, "Do you have any physical limitations?" "Who, me?" Jimmy asked, and Albie nodded yes. "No, I don't." Before Jimmy could finish his sentence, Robert, who was standing right behind Jimmy, said, "Only if you could count a broken arm." Jimmy let out a sigh and slowly turned around. "Hey, Robert," he said. "Hey, too, said Robert, pushing Jimmy, who then bumped into Ollie. "You thought you were so cool with your friend today. Well, I'll show you. Meet me behind the dugouts after school and I'll show you who is cool." Jimmy's stomach sank as he continued to look for Albie, forward, as did Albie, who Jimmy could tell seemed to be as afraid of Robert as he was. As Jimmy handed his paper to Mr. Stalling, Robert nudged him again from behind and said, "See you after school," Jules said. "Send? What am I going to do?" Jimmy thought. If I don't show, he and his friends will make fun of me forever. But if I do go, Robert will demolish me. Jimmy thought about telling Gavin, but Robert and his friends would still make fun of Jimmy for being too chicken to show up by himself. The bell rang and Jimmy ran to Spanish, which didn't seem to last long enough. When the bell rang for class to be over, school is out for a day, which meant only one thing. It was time to meet Robert behind the dugouts. "See you tomorrow," Jimmy said, not seeming to notice that Jimmy was being rather quiet. If he did notice, he didn't ask about it. Dazed with fear, Jimmy tried to crack a smile, which he thought just made his face look as if he were in pain. "See you tomorrow," Jimmy managed to squeak out. Jimmy ran over to the dugouts. He spotted Robert and his friends, but they didn't see Jimmy, so he ducked behind a column nearby. "Oh man," he said softly, "what am I going to do?" And he remembered what his dad had told him right before tryouts for the baseball team. "Your mother would be so proud of you, Jimmy." "I have to show up. I have to do this." Jimmy took a deep breath and headed over to the dugouts. Well, look who showed up. It's Jimmy the Tool Townsend. "I didn't think you were going to show, but now that you are," Robert said, taking off his backpack and throwing it on the ground. Let's take care of some unfinished business now that your friend isn't here to fight your battles for you. Robert lurched forward, grabbed at Jimmy and started to shake him, when all of a sudden they heard a voice say, "Oh good, you guys made it." Robert quickly let go of Jimmy for fear of not wanting to get caught fighting at school. Bunker had zero tolerance of bullying of any kind. "What's up, Color?" Robert said as he saw Color walking toward them. "Not much. Just getting ready to clean up the field and the dugouts. Now that you guys are here to help, the job will get done much faster than I anticipated." "What?" Robert asked. "Oh no, we aren't here to help with that." "No?" asked Color. "That's a shame, because if you guys were here to start a fight with Jimmy, I would have to mention that to Mr. Stalling. And if I know Mr. Stalling, he would be very upset to hear such a thing. He may even ask certain people not to play in the first two or three games." "Oh," said Robert. "So which is it? Are you here to fight Jimmy, or are you here to help me clean up the field?" Robert said, looking back at his friends. "I guess we are here to help you clean up the field." "Good answer. Go over and grab some bags for the garbage." Robert motioned to his friends to help, and they all followed Robert without looking at Jimmy or saying a word to one another. "How's it going, Jimmy?" asked Color. "Good," Jimmy said, still shaken up but more relieved that the fight was broken up. "You showing up at practice tomorrow?" "Yeah, for sure." "Okay then. See you tomorrow." Jimmy looked at Color with a puzzled look. "Don't you want me to help you clean up the field?" "No," laughed Color, pointing his bat over to where Robert and his friends were standing with the bags. "I think I have enough help. Why don't you head home? I'll keep these guys busy enough for you to get home safely." Jimmy slowly began to smile. "Okay," he said. Thanks a lot." "Sure thing, Jimmy. See you tomorrow." Jimmy grabbed his skateboard and headed home. As Jimmy walked into his apartment, he could smell cookies. He smiled remembering how his mother used to make cookies for him after school, and how how they would sit around the kitchen table eating them and talking. Jimmy felt a tear roll down his cheek. Most of the time he could remember her without crying, but lately he seemed to be missing her more than usual. "Jimmy, is that you?" asked his dad from the kitchen. "Yep, Dad," said Jimmy, throwing his backpack on the floor and setting his skateboard down gently by the front door. Then he pulled his sleeve and wiped his eyes and brushed off the tears as he walked into the kitchen. Andrew was standing next to his father. "Hey there, kiddo, we decided to bake you some cookies for the first day of middle school." Jimmy looked at Andrew and gave her a smile and raised his eyebrow and looked at Dad. "You were baking cookies, Dad?" "Okay, you got me. I didn't bake." Andrew pulled me out of the kitchen as soon as he caught me setting the oven to boil instead of bake. "If it weren't for her, you would have been eating something that looked like hockey pucks, not cookies." His dad let out a chuckle. Andy slapped him with a kitchen towel and said, "He is awful, Jimmy. It's amazing he can cook you anything." "Hey," said Bill in defense, "I know how to use the grill and blender, right, Jimmy?" "Yep," said Jimmy, shoving a second cookie into his mouth. "We live off smoothies and hamburgers." They all laughed. "Well," said Angie, "I better head back to the shop. You're always busy at the end of the day for some reason." "Well, thanks for coming over," said Bill. "And thanks for the cookies," Jimmy said, chocolate spread to the right of his mouth. "My pleasure, you two. Let's have some dinner tonight. I can bring home pizza from Nano and Nana's. They make amazing pepperoni pizza. How does that sound?" They looked at one another and said, "Sure," at the same time. "Great," Andy said. "See you then." Jimmy's father sat down and let out a big sigh. "So, how was school today?" "Great," said Jimmy, thinking about Robert and how he had been lucky enough to escape him twice, once because of color and then earlier because of Gavin. "Oh, you will never guess who was at my school today." "Who?" "That kid, Gavin." His dad looked confused. "The brother of that girl that I saved from the tree. Remember him?" "Oh, yes," said Bill. "The tallest of the three?" "Yes," said Jimmy. "And I have him in every class but PE." "Really? That is great, buddy." "Yeah, it's pretty cool. He's easy to talk to, and his parents own a dojo, a karate school downtown." "Really? They seemed like really nice people, especially his mom." "Oh, that's not his real mom." No, his real mom passed away when he was in the 4th grade." "Really?" Bill questioned, looking shocked. "Yeah, I know, right? Crazy that we both lost our moms around the same time." "His mom passed away in an accident," he said. "Oh, darn," said Bill. "That had to be hard." "Yep," Jimmy said, sitting quietly. "Well, I'm really glad you made a friend today," said Bill. He knew how much Jimmy missed Mason. Gavin said the cool thing about moving here was how they bought the house for the same price they sold their house for in California, but their house here is way bigger. Gavin has his own room and everything. That's great. Well, I better go get some homework done before Angie comes back with the pizza. "Okay, buddy, I'll eat the rest of these cookies and clean up the kitchen," his dad said jokingly.